The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from thousands of worlds sat in their specially designed chambers, each one built to support different atmospheric needs. The air shimmered with translation fields as hundreds of languages merged into one universal understanding. At the center of the hall, a massive holographic display showed the galaxy's territorial map. Most regions glowed in soft blues and greens, indicating peaceful civilizations. Trade routes sparkled like golden threads connecting friendly worlds. But in one corner of the map, a dark red zone pulsed with warning symbols. "Human space," whispered the ethereal collective's representative, its voice like wind through crystal. 300 years and still no one dares enter. War Commander Thextar of the Vilteran Empire stood tall, his scaled hide reflecting the hall's lights. His people had lost their last war badly. They needed new territory, new resources, or their civilization would crumble. "These humans cannot be as dangerous as the legends claim," he declared. "We have studied every available record. They are just another species hiding behind fear and old stories." The ancient keeper of records activated the central display. Images of ships appeared, twisted metal hulks that barely looked like they had once been vessels. "These are the remains of the last expedition to approach human borders. The ship was found drifting in space, its crew gone. No signs of weapons damage, no energy signatures, just empty corridors and systems that had simply stopped working." Thextar's military advisors examined the data. Mechanical failure, one suggested. Perhaps they encountered a natural phenomenon. Or perhaps, interrupted the ethereal representative, they learned why the humans were quarantined in the first place. The debate continued for hours. Some species shared fragments of ancient stories, ships that vanished without a trace, entire fleets that simply never returned, long-range sensors that detected human vessels moving through space at impossible speeds, surviving in regions where no life should exist. But Thextar had made his decision. The Vilteran Empire would send a diplomatic mission to human space. If these humans were truly as powerful as the legends claimed, then the Vilterans would negotiate. If not, they would take what they needed by force. Far away on the edge of human space, Captain Dae-Ho Kim sipped his morning coffee and watched the stars. His command, the border station Horizon's Edge, drifted peacefully in the void. The station looked simple from the outside, just a collection of metal modules connected by flexible corridors. Nothing impressive or threatening about it. "Morning report, Captain," said Dr. Nari Park, entering the observation deck with a data pad. "All border sensors are functioning normally. No ship movements detected in the outer sectors." Kim nodded. "Any interesting transmissions from our galactic neighbors?" Dr. Park smiled. "The usual chatter. Trade negotiations, territorial disputes, scientific conferences. Oh, and someone is spreading stories about us again. According to long-range intercepts, we're apparently energy beings who can manipulate time." "Energy beings?" Kim laughed. "Last month we were supposed to be machine intelligences. The month before we were alleged to be telepathic warriors. Commander Boram Lee joined them carrying her own coffee. The aliens have active imaginations, I'll give them that. Though I picked up something more serious this time. The Vilteran Empire's having internal discussions about expansion into our territory." Kim raised an eyebrow. "The Vilterans? Aren't they the ones who lost that war with the Crystalline Collective?" "The same ones. Their economy is in ruins, their population is growing restless, and they need new resources badly. Desperate people make dangerous decisions." Dr. Park pulled up a holographic display showing the local star systems. "What do they know about us, really? I mean, what information do they actually have?" Lee accessed her intelligence files. "Very little accurate data. Most of what they know comes from the old expeditions that tried to enter our space centuries ago. The few survivors who made it back told stories, but the stories kept changing each time they were retold. Classic case of legend becoming fact," Kim observed. "The less people know about something, the more frightening it becomes in their imagination." The three officers stood quietly for a moment, looking out at the peaceful stars. Their border station was just one of dozens scattered around human space. Each one looked harmless. Enough. Just simple research and monitoring outposts staffed by ordinary people doing ordinary jobs. Sometimes, "I wonder what it would be like," Dr. Park said thoughtfully, "if we could actually meet some of these alien species face to face. Really talk to them, share ideas, learn about their cultures." "Maybe someday," Kim replied. "The scientists back home are still working on the compatibility issues. Until then, we just keep watching and waiting. Lieutenant Young-Soo Han's voice came through the communication system. Captain, we're detecting unusual activity in the outer sensor grid. Multiple ships approaching from Galactic South. Kim touched his communicator. How many ships, Lieutenant? 12 vessels, sir. Large ones. They're maintaining standard formation patterns, but, Captain, they're headed directly for our border markers. The three officers exchanged glances. In 3 centuries, no one had approached human space with such obvious intent. Battle fleet? Lee asked. Han's voice came back uncertain. Configuration suggests military vessels, but they're also broadcasting diplomatic identification codes. It's confusing, sir. Kim made his way to the command center, followed by Dr. Park and Commander Lee. The main display showed 12 massive shapes moving steadily toward human territory. Even at this distance, their size was impressive. Viltaran design, Lee confirmed after studying the sensor data. Dreadnought-class vessels, each one capable of destroying a moon. Dr. Park was already analyzing the alien transmissions. They're broadcasting in standard galactic diplomatic protocols, requesting permission to enter human territory for official negotiations. 12 dreadnoughts for a diplomatic mission? Kim shook his head. Either they're very nervous about meeting us or they're planning something else entirely. The sensor display updated. The alien fleet would reach human border markers in approximately 18 hours at their current speed. Kim settled into his command chair and opened a communication channel to Earth Command. This is Captain Kim at Horizon's Edge. We have incoming visitors, and they don't look like they're planning a friendly chat. While they waited for Earth's response, the crew continued monitoring the approaching fleet. The Viltaran ships moved with military precision, their formation perfect, their course unwavering. They showed no signs of the caution that had kept other species away from human space for 3 centuries. Dr. Park continued analyzing alien communications, picking up fragments of internal chatter from the approaching fleet. They seem confident, she reported. References to inferior species and primitive technology. I think they believe we're less advanced than we actually are. Well, Kim said quietly, I suppose they're about to find out just how wrong they are. War Commander Thextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Conquering Flame. Through the reinforced viewing ports, he could see the other 11 ships of his fleet maintaining perfect formation. Each vessel was a masterpiece of Viltaran military engineering, armed with plasma cannons that could melt through asteroid fields and protected by energy shields that had never been penetrated. Distance to human territory? He asked his navigation officer. 16 hours at current speed, Commander. We should begin detecting their defensive positions soon. Thextar nodded. His intelligence officers had spent months studying every available record about humans. The results were disappointing. Most reports were clearly exaggerated tales told by frightened survivors. Energy beings that could manipulate time, soldiers who could survive in the vacuum of space without protection, ships that could travel faster than physics allowed. Superstitious nonsense, he muttered. Fear makes cowards see monsters in shadows. His tactical officer approached with a datapad. Sir, we've been monitoring human communication frequencies. They know we're coming, but their responses are unusual. Unusual how? They're broadcasting welcome messages, sir, in 847 different languages, including our own. They're offering food, medical assistance, and comfortable quarters for diplomatic talks. Thextar's scaled brow furrowed. Medical assistance? Do they think we're injured? Unknown, sir. The messages also include detailed nutritional information for various species and atmospheric requirements for different types of life forms. Perhaps they're simply being polite before they attack, suggested the weapons officer. A classic strategy to lower our guard. Thextar studied the tactical display. Still no sign of human defensive installations. No weapons platforms, no patrol fleets, no energy barriers. Either the humans were very good at hiding their defenses, or they were completely unprepared for his arrival. On board the Horizon's Edge, Captain Kim watched the alien fleet's steady approach with professional interest. Admiral Taejin Choi had arrived 6 hours earlier, with a small escort of 3 human vessels. The reinforcements looked tiny compared to the approaching Viltaran dreadnoughts. They've been broadcasting warnings for the past hour, Lieutenant Han reported, demanding our immediate surrender and territorial concessions. Standard military intimidation tactics. Admiral Choi, a veteran officer with graying hair and calm eyes, reviewed the alien communications. They seem convinced that we're either cowards or primitives. Interesting assumption. Dr. Myung Song, the psychological warfare expert who had arrived with the Admiral's team, analyzed the enemy transmissions. Classic aggressive posturing. They're trying to project strength and dominance. The formation patterns suggest academy-trained officers following textbook procedures. Textbook procedures, Kim repeated. The same procedures we studied and improved on during our own internal conflicts centuries ago. Commander Lee pulled up historical files. The Vilterans fought a war against the Crystalline Collective last year, lost badly according to galactic news reports. They used traditional assault formations and overwhelming firepower. It worked against other conventional forces, but failed completely against crystalline adaptive tactics. Admiral Choi opened a communication channel to the approaching fleet. Vilteran vessels, this is Admiral Choi of the Terran Defense Force. Your request for territorial negotiation is acknowledged. I would like to invite your commanding officers aboard our border station for refreshments and formal discussions. The response came quickly, broadcast on all frequencies. War Commander Thextar's voice carried the authority of absolute command. Human vessels, you are outgunned and outnumbered 12-3. Your pitiful border station cannot withstand our firepower. Surrender immediately or face the consequences. Dr. Song smiled. He's afraid. The aggressive language is compensation for uncertainty. They were expecting defenses, weapons platforms, warning shots. Our polite response is confusing them. Should we give them a demonstration of our capabilities? Asked Commander Lee. Admiral Choi shook his head. Not yet. Let them make the first move. Better to understand their intentions clearly before we respond. The Viltaran fleet maintained course and speed, closing the distance to human territory. On their bridges, alien officers watched their sensors for any sign of human defensive systems. Long-range scanners showed only empty space and a few scattered monitoring stations. Perhaps the humans really are primitives, suggested Thextar's first officer. Their ships show no energy weapons, no defensive fields, no obvious military modifications. Thextar studied the human vessels through his tactical viewer. They looked almost civilian in design. Smooth hulls, simple configurations, minimal external equipment. Nothing that screamed military threat. Sir, interrupted the communications officer, the humans are broadcasting again. They're asking about dietary requirements and if any of our crew members need medical attention. Medical attention? Thextar's confusion grew. Why would they think we need medical attention? The science officer checked his readings. Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from their space. Background radiation levels are higher than normal. Their ships seem to be operating in conditions that would be uncomfortable for most species. Uncomfortable or dangerous? Difficult to determine without closer examination, sir. The radiation isn't immediately lethal, but extended exposure could cause problems for our crew. Thextar dismissed the concern. Radiation was a minor issue compared to the tactical situation. His fleet had 12 heavily armed dreadnoughts. The humans had 3 small vessels and a simple space station. The mathematics of the situation were clear. Weapons officer, prepare for combat. If they won't surrender, we'll demonstrate the futility of resistance. Back on Horizon's edge, sensors detected the energy buildup in the alien weapon systems. They're powering weapons, Han reported. Plasma cannon arrays on all 12 ships. Admiral Choi sighed. Well, we tried diplomacy. All stations prepare for defensive measures. Standard protocols only. We don't want to escalate unnecessarily. Captain Kim activated the station's defensive systems. Around them, energy fields began to form and hull plates shifted into protective configurations. The changes were subtle, almost invisible to external observation. Dr. Park monitored alien communications. They seem surprised by our lack of panic. Their officers are discussing whether this is a trap or if we're simply too primitive to understand the danger. Engineer Won-Ho Park arrived on the bridge, carrying a toolkit. Just finished the routine maintenance on the hull adaptation systems. Everything's running at peak efficiency. Good timing, Admiral Choi observed. We may need those systems shortly. The Vilteran fleet reached the official boundary of human space and crossed it without hesitation. Their weapons locked onto the border station, plasma cannons charging to full power. War Commander Thextar opened one final communication channel. Last chance, humans. Surrender now or we will destroy your pathetic station. Admiral Choi's response was calm and patient. War Commander, our invitation for diplomatic talks remains open. We have prepared comfortable quarters and refreshments suitable for your species' biological requirements. Thexitar's frustration reached its breaking point. These humans either didn't understand their situation or were mocking him. Either way, a demonstration of superior firepower would clarify matters quickly. Fire, he commanded. 12 plasma cannons discharged simultaneously, their combined energy enough to vaporize a small moon. The brilliant beams streaked across space toward the seemingly helpless human border station. On horizon's edge, alarms chimed softly, not emergency warnings, just routine system notifications. Incoming energy discharge, Han reported with professional calm. Impact in 3 seconds. The plasma beam struck the station directly. The brilliant explosion lit up space for kilometers in all directions, energy equivalent to a small star's output focused on a single target. When the light faded, the human border station remained exactly where it had been. Its hull showed no damage, no scorch marks, no sign that it had been attacked at all. War Commander Thextar stared at his display screens in disbelief. Impossible. Check the weapon systems. All systems functioning normally, sir. Direct hits confirmed on target. Then why is their station still intact? The science officer's voice was uncertain. Sir, I'm reading massive energy absorption in their hull structure. The plasma discharge seems to have been converted somehow. Admiral Choi opened a communication channel to the stunned Viltaran fleet. Thank you for the energy donation, War Commander. Our station's power grid is now running at 112% efficiency. The invitation for diplomatic talk still stands. War Commander Thextar felt his world collapse around him. 12 of the most powerful weapons in Viltaran space had fired simultaneously at a single target. The energy discharge should have been enough to crack a planet's crust. Instead, the human station absorbed the attack like it was nothing more than a gentle breeze. Analysis, he demanded, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. His science officer worked frantically at his console. Sir, the energy readings are impossible. Their station's hull appears to have converted our plasma discharge into usable power. I've never seen technology like this. Defensive shields? No, sir, no shield signatures detected. The hull itself absorbed the energy directly. Thextar's tactical mind raced through possibilities. Advanced material science? Energy manipulation technology beyond galactic understanding? Or was this some kind of illusion designed to confuse his sensors? Sir, interrupted the communications officer, the humans are broadcasting again. Admiral Choi's calm voice filled the bridge. War Commander, we detected some minor energy fluctuations from your position. Are your ships experiencing technical difficulties? We have excellent repair facilities if you need assistance. The casual offer of help struck Thextar like a physical blow. They had just attacked with enough firepower to destroy a city, and the humans were asking if they needed repairs? First Officer, order all ships to focus fire on one of their escort vessels. Maximum power, concentrated barrage. His first officer hesitated. Sir, if their station can absorb that much energy, do it. The 12 Viltaran dreadnoughts turned their weapons toward the nearest human ship. It was smaller than their station. A simple-looking vessel with smooth curves and minimal external equipment. If the humans had some kind of advanced defensive technology, surely it would be weaker on their smaller ships. The concentrated barrage was devastating. Enough plasma energy to melt an asteroid belt focused on a single target the size of a small building. Space itself seemed to burn as the weapons fired. Captain Hyojin Yoon sat calmly in her pilot's chair aboard the Silent Wind as the alien weapons locked onto her ship. Around her, the crew continued their normal duties without showing any signs of concern. Should I take evasive action? Asked her navigation officer. No need, Yoon replied. Standard defensive measures will be sufficient. The plasma barrage struck her ship with the force of a small sun. The Silent Wind didn't dodge, didn't generate energy shields, and didn't attempt to avoid the attack. It simply continued on course as if nothing had happened. When the energy discharge faded, the ship remained completely undamaged. Its hull didn't even show scorch marks. Aboard the Viltaran flagship, silence filled the bridge. Officers stared at their instruments in disbelief. Some began checking their systems for malfunctions. Others simply stood frozen, unable to process what they were seeing. Sir, the weapons officer whispered, our concentrated barrage had no effect whatsoever. The human ship absorbed everything we threw at it. War Commander Thextar felt fear creeping into his mind. These weren't the primitive beings his intelligence reports had described. This was technology so advanced that it made his most powerful weapons completely useless. "Sir," the sensor operator's voice cracked with strain. "New contact." Another human ship just appeared directly behind us. On the main display, a new vessel materialized from empty space. It hadn't approached from a distance. It had simply appeared as if it had been invisible until that moment. Captain Yoon's voice came through the communication system, perfectly pleasant and professional. "Viltaran Fleet, this is Captain Yoon of the reconnaissance vessel Silent Wind. We've completed our standard security scan of your ships. Thank you for your cooperation. Security scan?" Thextar's blood ran cold. When did they scan us? His electronic warfare officer checked his systems frantically. "Sir, I'm showing massive data transfers from our computers. They've accessed our tactical databases, communication protocols, ship specifications, everything." "Impossible. Our security systems are military grade." "Sir, according to these readings, they downloaded our entire computer core in less than 30 seconds. I didn't even detect the intrusion until now." Engineer Wonho Park's voice joined the communication from the human border station. "We apologize for the inconvenience, but standard safety protocols require us to understand any technology operating in our space. Your weapon systems are quite impressive by galactic standards." By galactic standards, the casual dismissal hit Thextar like a slap. His weapons were impressive by galactic standards, but apparently not by human standards. Dr. Nari Park began broadcasting technical data to the alien fleet. "We've noticed some inefficiencies in your power distribution systems. The plasma conduits in your main weapons could be improved by approximately 37% with minor modifications. We'd be happy to share the technical specifications." The Viltaran crew listened in growing horror as the human scientist casually described flaws in their most advanced military technology. Flaws that their own engineers had spent decades trying to solve. "Sir," the chief engineer reported, "she's right. The modifications she's suggesting would indeed improve our weapons' efficiency. How could they analyze our systems so quickly?" War Commander Thextar no longer had an answer. Nothing in his military training had prepared him for this situation. His enemy was offering to improve his weapons after demonstrating that those same weapons were completely useless against them. Admiral Choi opened another communication channel. "War Commander, we're detecting some concerning readings from your ships. Background radiation in this region can be harmful to some species. We recommend you consider medical evaluation for your crews." "What kind of radiation?" Thextar demanded. Dr. Park's voice answered. "Standard cosmic background radiation, solar wind particles, and trace quantum fluctuations. Nothing unusual by our standards, but potentially dangerous for species not adapted to these conditions." Thextar's science officer was already running atmospheric analysis. "Sir, she's right. Radiation levels in this region are significantly higher than normal space. Our crew is beginning to show symptoms of low-level exposure. Symptoms? Fatigue, cellular damage, system failures, and sensitive electronics. Nothing immediately life-threatening, but prolonged exposure could be dangerous." The horrible truth began to dawn on Thextar. The humans weren't just technologically superior. They were living and working in conditions that were actively hostile to other forms of life. The empty space around human space wasn't empty at all. It was filled with radiation and exotic particles that human technology thrived in, but alien technology couldn't handle. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "several of our ships are reporting system malfunctions. Power fluctuations, computer errors, life support irregularities." Captain Yoon's ship moved closer to the Viltaran formation, its crew apparently unaffected by the hostile environment. "We're prepared to provide emergency assistance if needed. Our medical facilities are fully equipped to treat radiation exposure." Sergeant Ji-Hai Kim's voice joined the communication from one of the human escort vessels. "We're also prepared for emergency evacuation if any of your crew members require immediate medical attention." Standard safety protocols, standard safety protocols. Dexter realized that everything the humans were doing, absorbing massive weapons fire, operating in lethal radiation, scanning enemy ships without being detected, was standard procedure for them. "First officer," he said quietly, "attempt to withdraw from human territory." The navigation officer engaged their engines, but the ship barely moved. "Sir, power levels are dropping rapidly. The exotic particles in this space are interfering with our propulsion systems." All ships emergency withdrawal. One by one, reports came in from the other vessels. Engine failures, power system irregularities, life support problems. The Vilteran fleet, designed to survive in normal galactic space, was slowly dying in the environment that humans called home. Dr. Mi Young-song's voice came from the border station, professional and concerned. War Commander, we're reading dangerous stress levels in your ship hulls. The local space conditions are beyond your vessel's design specifications. We strongly recommend immediate medical assistance. Thextar stared at the tactical display showing his dying fleet. 12 of the most advanced warships in Vilteran space reduced to helpless hulks by simply entering human space. War Commander? Admiral Choi's voice was patient, almost kind. Our medical teams are standing by. We can have your crews transferred to safety within the hour. The proud war commander who had planned to conquer human space now faced a terrible choice. Accept help from the people he had come to attack, or watch his crews die from exposure to conditions the humans considered normal. Admiral Choi, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, We may require your assistance. Dr. Kyung-ho Yu moved quickly through the medical bay of Horizon's Edge as the first Vilteran casualties arrived. The aliens looked terrible. Their scaled skin had turned a sickly pale color, and many could barely stand without assistance. Severe radiation poisoning, he reported to Admiral Choi. But not from any kind of weapon. They're suffering from exposure to what we consider normal background conditions. War Commander Thextar lay on a medical bed, conscious but weak. Dr. Yu worked to synthesize compatible medical treatments while explaining the situation to the alien. Commander, your species evolved in a very different environment than ours, the doctor said gently. What humans consider safe normal space is actually quite hostile to most galactic life forms. Hostile how? Thextar managed to ask. Dr. Seokjin Kang, the cultural historian who had arrived with Admiral Choi, pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's solar system. To understand humans, you need to understand where we came from. Earth wasn't a kind world to our species. The display showed Earth's history, ice ages that lasted for millennia, volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun for years, asteroid impacts that nearly wiped out all life, solar flares that sterilized the surface. For millions of years, Dr. Kang continued, Earth tried to kill humanity. Ice ages, plagues, natural disasters, radiation from space. Every piece of human technology was developed to help our species survive extinction-level events. Captain Insu Lee's voice came through the communication system from his ship, the Iron Mountain. My vessel was originally designed for deep space mining operations in the galactic core. The radiation levels there would kill most known species instantly. What you're experiencing now is actually much milder than what this ship was built to handle. Thextar struggled to understand. Your mining ships are more heavily protected than our military vessels? Not protected, Lee corrected. Adapted. Human technology doesn't fight hostile environments. It learns to thrive in them. Specialist Sora. Choi demonstrated this principle by having the border station's automated systems construct a new communications array. The process used raw materials harvested from space dust and ambient hydrogen, converting the hostile environment itself into useful resources. 17 minutes, she reported. Standard construction. Time for basic communication equipment. The Vilteran officers who were still conscious watched in amazement as the human station essentially grew new components from nothing but empty space. Matter conversion technology, whispered Thextar's science officer. They're manipulating matter at the atomic level. Dr. Kang shook his head. Not manipulation, adaptation. Human manufacturing systems were designed to work with whatever materials are available. When you live on a world that's constantly trying to kill you, you learn to use everything. Commander Eunji Park from the Diplomatic Corps arrived to explain the historical context. 3 centuries ago, when humans first encountered galactic civilization, the results were unfortunate. Early contact missions suffered massive casualties. From human attacks? Thextar asked. From human existence, Park replied sadly. Every time we sent diplomatic ships to meet other species, those species died from exposure to our technology, our environment, our very presence. She showed recordings of humanity's first attempts at galactic diplomacy, human exploration vessels built to survive anything the universe could throw at them, accidentally destroyed alien scouts simply by operating their engines nearby. Human habitats designed to be comfortable for people adapted to Earth's harsh conditions were death traps for visitors from gentler worlds. The quarantine wasn't established to protect other species from human aggression, Park explained. It was established to protect them from human normalcy. Captain Minho Jung coordinated rescue operations as more Vilteran crew members were brought aboard human medical facilities. The aliens were horrified to discover that standard life support systems on human ships would be classified as torture chambers by galactic law. Atmospheric pressure equivalent to the bottom of an ocean, Jung reported. Oxygen levels that would be toxic to most species, background radiation that requires constant medical monitoring. And you live in these conditions? Thextar asked weakly. We vacation in worse conditions, Dr. Yu replied while adjusting the alien's treatment. My family spent last summer on a planet with surface temperatures that would melt tungsten. The kids loved swimming in the lava pools. The medical bay's display screens showed recordings of human civilian activities. Children playing games in environments with crushing atmospheric pressure. Families taking relaxing trips to worlds where the air was pure acid. Artists creating sculptures using controlled nuclear fusion as a casual hobby. Impossible, breathed the Vilteran science officer. Necessary, corrected Dr. Kang. When you're home, world spends millions of years trying to kill your species. You either adapt or die. Humans adapted. Captain Kim entered the medical bay with more disturbing news. We've analyzed the damage to the Vilteran ships. Their hulls are deteriorating rapidly. At current rates, they'll suffer complete structural failure within 6 hours. Commander Park accessed classified files. This is what we've been trying to prevent for 3 centuries. The environment that humans consider safe is lethal to everyone else. She showed Thextar recordings of human exploration missions that had tried to make contact with galactic civilization. Ship after ship destroyed not by enemy action but by the simple fact that human technology operated on principles that other species couldn't survive. We've been desperately trying to find ways to make contact without accidentally committing genocide, Park continued. Every border station is also a research facility, working on compatibility technology. Dr. Sung Ho Lim arrived with prototype equipment, environmental compatibility suits. We've been developing them for 2 centuries, trying to find ways to interact safely with other species. The suits looked like simple clothing, but the technology inside was staggering. Environmental controls that could let humans exist in any conceivable atmosphere. Radiation shielding that worked both ways, protecting others from human normal conditions and protecting humans from alien environments. The reverse versions are still experimental, Dr. Lim admitted. We're not sure alien physiology can adapt to human standards safely. Captain Eugene Park's voice came through the communication system from outside the station. Medical teams report that we're losing 3 Vilteran crew members to system failure. Their biology simply cannot cope with prolonged exposure to our environment. Dr. Yu worked frantically to synthesize new treatments. I need more time to understand their physiology. Their cellular structure is completely different from anything in our medical databases. Admiral Choi made a decision that would change galactic history. Open the sealed hangar. Prepare the deep space medical facility. The humans around the medical bay stopped their work and stared at him. Sir, Captain Kim said carefully, that facility is still classified. The technology exists to save lives, Choi replied firmly. And these people are dying because they made the mistake of trying to visit us. Deep in the station's core, massive systems activated. The medical facility that emerged was beyond anything the Vilterans had imagined possible. Automated surgical systems that could repair damage at the cellular level. Life support systems that could maintain any conceivable form of biology. Medical scanners that could map and understand alien physiology in real time. This is our Deep Space Emergency Medical Center, Dr. Yu explained as dying Vilteran crew members were transferred to the advanced facility. We built it for human exploration crews who might encounter unknown hazards in deep space. The facility saved the dying aliens, but the psychological impact was devastating. The humans had medical technology so advanced that it seemed like magic, and they had built it not for war but for exploration. We didn't know, Thextar whispered as his crew recovered in chambers designed to perfectly simulate their home environment. We thought you were hiding because you were afraid of us. Commander Park sat beside his medical bed. We were hiding because we were afraid of accidentally killing you. Every species that has tried to make contact with us has died. Not from our weapons, but from our very existence. The quarantine was established by the Galactic Council to protect other species from us. We've spent 3 centuries trying to find ways to safely interact with galactic civilization. Thextar closed his eyes as the truth settled over him. We came here to conquer you. We know, Park replied gently. We've been monitoring galactic communications for centuries. We know about your war, your economic problems, your population pressure. We understand why you felt you had to try. And instead of destroying us, you saved us. It's what we do, she said simply. Humans have been fighting extinction for so long that saving lives has become instinct. Even when those lives belong to people who came here to hurt us. War Commander Thextar stood at the observation window of the human medical facility, watching his fleet die. One by one, the proud Viltran dreadnoughts were failing as the hostile environment of human space slowly destroyed their hulls and systems, the eternal victory. Just lost life support, reported his first officer from the bed next to him. Captain Mordan is requesting emergency evacuation for his crew. Dr. Kyung Ho Yu checked the medical readings on both aliens. Your crews are responding well to treatment, but your ships won't survive much longer in our space. The exotic particles that our technology thrives on are like acid to your hull materials. Through the window, human rescue ships moved between the dying Viltran vessels. Each rescue was performed with calm efficiency, as if saving the crews of an enemy fleet was routine procedure. Why? Thextar asked quietly. We came here to conquer your territory. We attacked your station. We threatened your people. Why are you helping us? Ambassador Hee-Young Kim entered the medical facility, carrying diplomatic files that had been classified for 3 centuries. Because, War Commander, you've accidentally solved the greatest problem in human history. She activated a holographic display showing the quarantine zone around human space. For 300 years, we've been trapped in our own territory. Every attempt to explore the galaxy ends in tragedy. Not because we're defeated, but because our presence kills other species. The display showed human exploration vessels, massive ships that dwarfed the Viltran dreadnoughts. Hundreds of them, all sitting idle in human shipyards. We built a fleet capable of crossing the galaxy, Ambassador Kim continued, but we can't use it. Every time we try, we accidentally commit genocide, simply by existing in the same space as other species. Dr. Sung-Ho Lim joined them, bringing with him the prototype compatibility technology. Your invasion, War Commander, was the first time in centuries that we've had living alien subjects to work with. Your crew's medical data is helping us understand how to make human-alien coexistence possible. Thextar stared at the ambassador. You're using us as test subjects? We're using your survival as proof that coexistence is possible, she corrected. For the first time, we have aliens living safely in human space. That's not just a medical breakthrough. It's the key to ending our isolation. Captain Eugene Park's voice came through the communication system. Medical Bay, we have another problem. The Viltran ship Thunder of War is experiencing catastrophic hull failure. We need immediate evacuation. Outside the windows, the human rescue operations continued. Advanced medical shuttles docked with failing alien vessels, their crews working to save lives while the ships themselves crumbled around them. Your people move so quickly, observed Thextar's science officer. It's like they've done this before. Dr. Lim nodded grimly. We have. Every few decades, some species attempts to explore human space. Pirates, researchers, lost merchant vessels. We've been rescuing the survivors and studying the casualties for centuries, trying to understand why contact is so deadly. He showed them medical records of previous encounters, species after species, all suffering the same symptoms: radiation poisoning, system failures, cellular damage from exposure to human normal conditions. The pattern was always the same, Dr. Lim explained. Ships would enter our space, their crews would start dying immediately, and we'd spend days trying to save lives while figuring out what was killing them. Ambassador Kim accessed more classified files. But you're different, War Commander. Your fleet is the largest group to ever survive initial contact. Your military training gave your crews better discipline under stress. And your ship designs are more robust than civilian vessels. More robust, but still failing, Thextar pointed out. Yes, but failing slowly enough for us to study the process. Your crews are surviving long enough for us to develop effective treatments. That's never happened before. Dr. Yu administered another dose of radiation medication to the alien commander. Your cellular structure is surprisingly adaptable. With the right treatments, your species might actually be able to survive in human environments for extended periods. Survive, yes, said Dr. Lim. But the real breakthrough is psychological. Your crews aren't just surviving, they're learning. You're the first aliens to spend time in human space and understand what they're seeing. Through the medical facility's communication system, they could hear conversations between human and Vilteran crew members, technical discussions about human technology, cultural exchanges, even jokes shared between former enemies. Lieutenant Daewon is explaining human history to your engineer Kexmal, reported Captain Minho Young. They're comparing notes on stellar engineering techniques. Ambassador Kim smiled. That conversation is being recorded for the Galactic Council. Proof that humans and aliens can coexist peacefully when proper safety measures are in place. Thextar's tactical mind began to understand the larger implications. You're going to use our survival as evidence that the quarantine can be lifted. Eventually, yes. But first we need to perfect the compatibility technology. Your crews are helping us test environmental suits, medical treatments, and safety protocols. She showed him the prototype systems in more detail. Environmental control technology that could create safe zones for alien species within human ships. Medical monitoring systems that could detect and treat radiation exposure in real time. Communication protocols that would allow safe interaction between human and alien crews. The goal isn't to make aliens survive in human space, Ambassador Kim explained. The goal is to make human space safe for aliens to visit. Dr. Lim pulled up engineering schematics for modified human vessels. We're designing ships that can operate safely in both human and galactic space. The technology exists. We just needed to understand alien physiology well enough to implement it properly. And my crews are providing that understanding. Thextar realized. Your crews are providing hope, the ambassador corrected. For 3 centuries, humans have been alone in the galaxy. Not by choice, but because our very existence was a threat to other life forms. Outside the medical facility, another Viltaran ship suffered critical system failure. Human rescue teams moved immediately, extracting the alien crew moments before the vessel's hull collapsed completely. We're losing the Void Crusher, reported Thextar's communications officer. But all crew members are safely aboard human rescue vessels. Dr. Yu checked the medical readings from the newly rescued aliens. Severe exposure, but nothing we can't treat. They'll make full recoveries. How many times have you done this? Thextar asked. Rescued alien crews from failing ships? This is the largest operation we've ever attempted. Usually we're dealing with single vessels or small groups. Thextar clarified. How many times have you saved the lives of people who came here to hurt you? The medical bay fell quiet. The human staff exchanged glances as if considering how to answer such a question. Every time, Dr. Yu said finally. Every single time someone enters our space, we try to save them. Pirates, military scouts, lost civilians, it doesn't matter. Life is too precious to waste on old grudges. Ambassador Kim added, Besides, War Commander, you didn't really come here to hurt us. You came here because your people are desperate, facing economic collapse and population pressure. Desperation makes people do dangerous things, but it doesn't make them evil. We fired on your station with enough power to destroy a moon, and our station absorbed the energy and converted it to useful power. No harm was done except to your own ships from prolonged exposure to our environment. Thextar looked around the medical facility, watching human doctors work to save Vilteran lives, advanced medical technology being used freely to heal former enemies, research data being shared openly to solve compatibility problems. What happens now? He asked. Now, Ambassador Kim replied. You become the first alien ambassadors to human space. Your crews will help us perfect the compatibility technology, and when you're ready to return home, you'll carry proof that humans aren't the monsters galactic legends claim we are. And if we choose to stay, then you become the first permanent alien residents of human space. We have entire worlds that could be adapted for Vilteran colonization, using the environmental data we've gathered from treating your crews. Through the observation windows, the last of the Vilteran dreadnoughts finally succumbed to structural failure. 12 of the most advanced warships in their fleet, reduced to drifting debris by simply existing in human space. but every single crew member had been saved. Over 3,000 alien lives rescued by the people they had come to conquer. War Commander, Dr. Lim said quietly, your invasion has given us something we've wanted for 3 centuries, proof that humans and aliens can coexist. The question now is, what do you want to do with that knowledge?